Right, the market is awash with loads of different types of main lines at the moment. So I've just gone and raided Gardener's Warehouse to try and kind of give you an idea as to what the lines are meant for, what I use and their advantages and disadvantages. At the moment I'm on braid, and this braid is Hydrosinks Noir, the new stuff that they've done, which has been designed to sink as well as do the other things to the best of its ability. It's not been made as a casting line. Gardener do a different type of line that's meant for casting, so I wouldn't say go and buy this braid if you want to fish at distances of over, say, 100 yards. But if you want the braid to sink, not fade, then this I think is the best out there. Incredibly strong, does everything you want to do. Obviously, disadvantages with a braid is you've got no stretch, which is also an advantage. The advantage being that whatever you've been finding with your lead and your marker float setup or your leading setup, you will emulate the same feeling with your main rod in this with this main line. The disadvantage is when you're playing a fish, there is little stretch, so you literally feel every ping, which is quite off-putting to a lot of anglers, including myself. So I'm still using a fluorocarbon leader, or say a rod length, 2 rod lengths long. So yeah, it's up to you, but using a braided mainline as straight through, a lot of people do. I'd always say adjust your hook sizes, don't use too small a hook. But if you are worried about that sort of feeling, then a fluorocarbon will work. Other advantages are it's fantastic in weed, and that is why I'm still using it, because it actually cuts through the weed when you've got a fish on it, whereas a mono and a fluoro doesn't have those properties. Lean onto fluoro if the weed is not so prevalent as it is. Well, it's not in the case of my lake at the moment. I'm going to switch over to the Mirage when it dies down a little bit. This stuff is fantastic. This is the Mirage Platinum. It's got less stretch than what, say, a mono has. It's got excellent sinking properties. It's obviously translucent, and that's what people tend to want to use a fluorocarbon for, which is really good in winter, where most waters tend to go very, very clear, including the one that I'm on at the moment. If there is a mono that I wanted to use, I'd pick Gardener's HD. When would I use HD? Probably if I need to cast at distances. This one is £15, casts beautifully well. Doesn't have the same translucent properties as say Gardener Mirage does, but it sinks very well, and so it hugs the bottom as well as it can, but it has greater stretch than the 2 previous lines that I've just mentioned there. So you've got to compensate for that when you are fishing to say a small spot, or you want to fish up to something that you've marked with your leading rod. So bear that in mind.